So, good morning, and thank you for that wonderful meditation, Judy, and the music that David and Vicki brings to us. It helps open us to this day, and for you being here. We're here by divine appointment, and I stand here as a messenger, as God, to deliver that which He wants us to hear or be. And since I prepare to talk, but we're a small group, I want to think of this more of an intimate conversation with friends, rather than giving you a lesson in truth. So let me open this with prayer. Oh, Heavenly Father, we ask your blessings upon those who are here today, that their minds and their hearts are open to the message that you relay through me. I ask your blessings and your wisdom, that I may speak your truth, and that I shall bring to this day a brighter moment and a special time of believing. Amen. So my talk today is about believe. And I want to give you a story about perception of believing. Two men are stranded on a desert island after their plane crashed. And the one man is just in a panic. Oh my God, we're going to die. There's no food, there's no water, we're going to die. You know, I just believe we're going to die here on this island. And the other man was sitting calmly against a palm tree, just relaxed. And his friend looks at him and he said, "Hey, dude, don't you understand? Why can you be so calm? We're going to die here." And he said, the man that's calm says, "You know, you don't understand. I make $100,000 a week." His friend looks at him and said, "What difference does that make? We don't have any food. We don't have any water. I just believe we're going to die." And this other man goes, "Well, you know, you're the one that doesn't understand. I make $100,000 a week. I tithe to my church. My pastor will put a search party out to find me." So, two perceptions of believing. One believes the worst is going to happen, and the other one believes that which will come to truth for him. And as in Chronicles 2, it is said, "Believe in the Lord your God, and you will be able to stand firm." So what do you believe in? Do you believe in magic? Peter and I love going to magic shows. And there's a great place down in Gaslamp that opened up recently. It's called Illusions. And we went there for their dinner and show. And it's amazing. They come around to your tables while you're eating and they do these magic tricks. And it's right there in front of you. And you're going, how did they do that? Where did that come from? How did they know this answer? And we are just mesmerized on this. We know it's a trained skill, but we cannot figure out how it happens. That's what God is. God's all about magic. He can do that magic in our life. Even if we're standing right there and seeing it, all of a sudden, it magically happens. God can make those things come into our lives. And it's those moments that we sort of go, wow, that's amazing. And if you think about how much magic happens every day around you, that you never could understand why that happened or how that happened, you start to understand God a little better. You start to have more of a belief. All of us are familiar with Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The author of that book once made a statement that said, "Those who don't believe in magic will never ever find it." And that's with life. If you can't believe in the magic of God in your life, you're never going to find it. But when you can believe that magic, believe in that magic is happening, it will be there for you. It's the same as the belief of children. Right now, this is the most magical time of the year for them. They just believe that Santa Claus is coming. And if I'm good, really good, I'm going to get presents under the Christmas tree. This is all about a belief we gave to them. And do we believe this? You know, a lot of people say Christmas has become commercialized and Santa Claus is a commercial, but it's a belief in an unknown. And I just recently rewatched Miracle on 34th, the current version. And their whole campaign was to prove that this man of Kris Kringle was Santa Claus. And he was before the judge. And so the campaign became, I believe in this man. And finally, the defense that came out was, on our money, it says, in God we trust. Nobody's seen God, but we trust in him. In our currency, in everything, we put our trust in God. So there's that believing of Santa Claus is still that mythical belief of something greater, something unseen and unknown, but it brings good into our life. It brings joy. It brings fulfillment. And if we can believe in those things and not go into that adult mindset that once we learned that Santa wasn't real, the tooth fairy really isn't there, and the Easter Bunny doesn't come and hide eggs, you know, we just sort of become disillusioned and, you know, disenchanted, and we lose perspective of, you know, what is this myth? What is this that we believe in? You know, they were lies to me. Well, God's not a lie to us. We've not seen him, you know, but every day around us, there's his workings. And we can find that if we can go into that wonderment and that excitement of a child, if we can look through the lens of the eyes of children, and you see that perspective. I always remember the story about the little boy who was in his baby sister's room at the crib, and the parents overheard him saying, "Please, tell me about God, because I'm beginning to forget." And as we grow up, we start to forget God. We forget that where we came from, who our source was. And we start to think, well, that's part of being responsible. I have to be responsible. I have to do the responsible thing here. I can't be childish and act childish. Well, we can still be in that joy. We see every day when you come in here, you see Jesus with the children around him. Come, have the children join me, because he knows they are in touch with their God self. They find that joy in every moment of their life. And Jesus says, you know, bring the children to me. And from the quote from Matthew's, truly I tell you, unless you can change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is within us. It's not a place we're going to. It's within us. And we lived in that kingdom every single day, every moment, and with every place we go. So if we can believe that we are in the kingdom of heaven, that God is within, we can continue to live in that magic, that childlike wonderment. I want to approach this from a point of looking at what's the difference between believing and faith. What do you believe in, and what is faith? Well, part of when I looked up in the dictionary, Googled this, it said believing is a decision or opinion based on something that can't be seen or touched with your hands. We can't see or touch these things about us, but we believe in those. Believe means something or someone exists before it is possible. Believe can be simply a passive mental acceptance, which amounts to nothing when it comes to how it affects our lives. So we can believe a plane will fly. You know, we know they go up. We believe that. Belief is when you accept an idea or a proposition as true and valid, even though it might not be logical. Others may tell you, why do you believe in that? That's not true. That's not happening. Your reasons for fully believing in the idea or proposition may not be valid, even faulty, but you do not really care for that, It's your belief. You want to steadfast in your belief. What you believe in something called destiny. That there's a reason why things happen in your life. You believe everything that happens is for your own good and has its own purpose. It might sound illogical to others. They don't have that same belief. It's yours, though. Own your belief. Steadfast in your belief. Whether you see it or not, or where it is, it's your belief. Faith, on the other hand, means a reliance on or a dependence upon a person or a thing. You have faith that will come. We have faith that this rain that's happening out there is going to water our plants and our plants are going to grow. We have faith in what good this rain is going to do. Faith may motivate you to do something out of the ordinary. When you have faith, the one about let go of the branch, God speaking to this man who fell off the cliff and grabbed, let go of the branch. He had to have faith that he would be okay. A good example of believing and faith, it comes from the passage in Matthew about where Jesus walked on water. I don't know how many here have tried walking on water, but, Jesus was able to do this. The disciples were in the boat and saw Jesus walking towards them and were scared, what is this? And he said, do not be afraid, I'm here. He tells them, and he said, so Peter, the bold one says, hey, Lord, if you really are my Lord, command me to come to you on the water. Jesus said, come, just do it, come. So Peter got out of the boat in the storm and said, okay, I believe that I can walk on the water. Jesus is doing it. Jesus commanded me to do it. I believe in Jesus that I can walk on this water. And he focused on that belief in Jesus. And then the storm and the waves, and that caught his attention, and he diverted it away from his focus on Jesus to the storm and became fearful and started to sink. Well, he had faith in Jesus, and Jesus reached out and pulled him up, and he said, you have little faith. Why do you not believe in me? He put his faith in Jesus, but he allowed the external forces to lose that focus. Faith consists in believing when it's beyond the power of reason to believe. So there's a point every day in our lives when we need to look at where we're putting our faith and what it is that we believe in that gives us that faith. On Monday, I'm having cataract surgery. I believe my doctor is very qualified and has the skill set to do the surgery. My faith, though, is in God that everything is going to turn out well and there will be no complications. And next week, I'll be able to see everybody without these glasses. So I have that faith. So it becomes a matter of understanding the difference between what you're believing in and where you put your faith. Here in Unity, we have 5 principles that we believe in. The church next door that uses our chapel, those members are Bible believers. They believe that their truths come from the Bible. Many spiritual paths have different beliefs, but they're all a path to God. And there's that acceptance of everyone's belief. Right now, in this political climate, we can see that division in beliefs, and it's creating anxiety. Rather than acceptance of our differences, it's creating this barrier. Whereas if we just accept and let people have their beliefs, and what they believe in is true for them, then we can go through our lives. I'm going to sort of touch on our beliefs here. Our first principle is we believe God is the source and creator of all, absolute good, and everywhere present. Sometimes that belief can be challenged. These fires recently totally devastated paradise. Many lives were lost, property. The fires have destroyed so much. It's like, where is God in this? How could he allow this to happen? If he's everywhere present, how can this happen? The storms that are going on, the hurricanes that have devastated, the lives that have been lost from these things that's going on. Where is God? And is it for our good? We're challenged. There are times we're challenged. And that belief is God is our source and it's good and he's everywhere present will be challenged. But we hold fast to that belief. We trust in God to be there, that this will bring good. From this will come our good. And amazing to watch the people that were affected by that fires. There were people that lost their homes, that lost their loved ones, and they were still out there giving service to others. They were still being there to comfort those who had also lost. That's where God steps in. That's where God comes forth. It's in those who can step forth and say, we're here. We're willing to help. We'll do what we have to do. Our second principle, we believe that we're spiritual beings. We're created in God's image. I look a lot different than other people. Not as tall, not as thin, whatever. I have a difference, and people may have opinion about how I look or how I act, but I'm still God's child. The same with everyone sitting here. We are God's child. We're created in God's image. And that saying is, be patient with me, God isn't finished with me yet. We're still a work in progress. Every day we're working towards finding that true God self, that highest quality that we have, that we were destined to be. You can't believe in God until you believe in yourself. When you believe who you are and know that you are God within, the Christ self, you've been anointed in this body, in this time, and in this place, in God's image. When you believe that, we are here for a purpose, and we will serve that purpose. We also have to remember that those that we see out there on the streets are in their God-appointed self. They are living their beliefs. They are living in their self-awareness. And some of those may be closer to God than I myself am, because they live day by day on that existence that God will take care of them. And if we can accept our differences in who we are and how we act and where we live, that everyone is God. God is one, and we are all one in spirit. In Matthew, Jesus said, "Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these my brothers, you did it unto me." So how you treat others and how you come across is reaching and touching that God self from your God self. The Christ in you beholds the Christ in them. Our third principle is we believe that we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. What we hold in mind is what we manifest in our lives. In Mark, it was said, if you do not doubt in your heart, but believe that what you will say will come to pass. It will be done for you. Simply saying, Jesus taught us, ask and you shall receive it. Hold it in your heart. Believe it to come to be. If you're facing some kind of challenge and something's not going quite the way you want it to, think, what am I holding in my mind? What is my thought process here? How am I not bringing this to the greatest good of myself? What is holding me back? Is it my thoughts? Is it my beliefs? Do I believe in myself enough? And do I believe in God more? That things will always come through. We will all have challenges. It can be health, it can be finances, it can be something. But when we think that this is something we are going through and we will come out stronger and better for it, is when we create into our lives a better experience. Our fourth principle is surrender to God through prayer and meditation. We believe in meditation. We do prayers here, we do our meditation here. It is believing that through God all things are possible. We can turn our lives over to Him in prayer. So believing in that power of prayer, if not for yourself, then praying for others, prayer is really powerful and it makes changes. Peter and I are an example of that. A year ago, we were faced with the challenge of his cancer diagnosis that was just, to the point of, this does not look positive. And we opened our home and our lives and told the story and said, please pray. And it has reversed the cancer. The prayers have been answered. And from that is just the thing. People were praying for him. It wasn't a matter of us alone. It was the collective belief, if that prayer works, that he's been healed, that he can go forward now and be strong and go back to a fulfilling life and serving God and doing that which is there. Our lives have been turned over. So whatever you ask for in prayer with faith, you will receive that. And we know that to be true. Everyone here has probably had an experience in their life when they took it to prayer and prayers got answered. And when you are in that darkest place, Silent Unity keeps that beacon going. Reach out to them and go, pray with me, pray for me. We pray here consistently, put into the prayer cards. It comes here, the group will pray with you here. Our prayer chaplains are always here to pray with you and for you. So knowing that we surrender and we believe in the power of prayer. Our fifth one is knowing the spiritual principles is not enough. It doesn't end there. Just because we know this doesn't mean we can sit on our couch and watch TV and we're doing God's work. We must carry that forward. We must do that which God has put us here to do. The life we live, the walk we walk, the talk we say is all about what God has given us to do for Him. That's how God is everywhere. It's in every one of you that is sitting here today. God is here. And with everything that you share with somebody today, you're sharing the presence of God. It is stepping out and taking these principles, these beliefs, and just loving and being and giving. So in James chapter 1, verse 22, I want to close with the scripture. Be inspired to greater acts of love and compassion. Be doers of the word and not merely hearers who deceive themselves. We are doers. I love this church because the fact that the members here are doers. They believe in their principles. They live in their principles. We are an example of who we are taught to be and what we believe. So, are your beliefs creating your reality in your life? Ask yourself, what is going on right now in your life, and how are your beliefs creating that? And if you don't like what's going on, change the beliefs. Right now, I'm a big fan, and I've really been amazed by this, that this new series that's on TV on Sunday nights, God Friended Me, to me is the power of God to reach out to the millenniums, to the younger generation. To see this happening on mainstream primetime TV is a way that God is reaching them to say, you may not believe in me, but I'm here, and I'm working through you. So if God were to send you a text or a Facebook message, how would you answer it? What would you believe? Would you believe it truly came from God, or would you think there's somebody out there hacking your system? Sometimes those little messages are God's way of saying, I need you to do my work. Be there for me. Believe in me and share that belief. Thank you.